Welcome to the Co-Parenting Chronicles. I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Jenna.
And this is a podcast about something we didn't exactly plan on becoming experts in.
But definitely learned the hard way, co-parenting.
We're not therapists, we're not lawyers. Well, Jenna actually is, but we'll get to that later. We definitely don't have it all figured out.
What we are is two parents who decided that even though our relationship isn't common, our commitment to raising healthy and happy kids is.
We'll talk about growth and boundaries, respect, and what it actually looks like to build a functional co-parenting relationship, even when it's hard.
Some episodes will be just us, having honest conversations we wish we'd heard earlier.
And others may include experts, real-life stories, our partners, and practical tools that you can actually use.
Whether you're newly separated, years into co-parenting, or supporting someone who is, this space is for you.
Because co-parenting isn't about being perfect.
It's about being intentional.
And choosing your kids, even on the hard days.
Thanks for being here, the sitcom that nobody asked for. We wanted to start this podcast because our family doesn't look like what people expect, but it works.
And not in a we're perfect way at all. It's we've had hard conversations, awkward moments, and a lot of growth way.
We get asked constantly how we do it, how we co-parent, how we're friends, and how there's no drama.
And whether we're secretly swingers.
We're not.
Bummer. Okay, so let's rewind. We both met, we'll call him baby daddy for right now, separately, at different times, in very different chapters of our lives.
There was no overlap, no scandal, no secret timeline.
We didn't really know each other. We weren't friends, but we were kind of in the same circle.
And at the time, neither of us knew this would eventually turn into this.
This isn't us sitting here with microphones. So for today, this is just the outline of our journey. And in the upcoming episodes, we'll take the time to walk through each moment that shaped how we co-parent today. But for right now, we just wanted to do a brief overview. So I would say that our family started when I was in college in 2013, and I had my son, Jude. I was in college in Chicago, and after becoming a mom, that kind of brought me back to wanting to come to Kenosha, where we live currently, so I could be closer to family and raise my son.
And just a few years later, I actually met Andy, end of 2015, and he was really into me. I liked him, but, I was already accepted into law school in London. I was moving away. So, it was just a fling. It wasn't anything serious at all. And, we had fun, and that was pretty much the end of that.
So when was it? So that was 2015?
It was end of 2015,
Going into the
beginning of 2016.
Okay.
And after that, then I ghosted him. We'll get to that. He'll probably say it on one of our episodes.
So then I met baby daddy, Andy, in 2016. I was a bartender at a local establishment in downtown Kenosha. He also worked there. I had just had Jude. He was about 3 at the time. And we quickly got pregnant with Ava, and we had her in 2017. And then Cora followed not long after in July of 2018. So the girls are right on top of each other. They're Irish twins. And then, that just didn't work out. I firmly believe that Andy and I were meant to be together just to have our girls. And we're just so fortunate that they're here and they're with us. But the rest of my story wasn't over yet. And if that relationship hadn't ended, then I would have never met my most amazing husband, Anthony. We met pretty shortly after Cora was born. I think she was 3 months old when I met Anthony, and he accepted her and my other 2 children as his own. Anthony already also had a son named Vinny, who was born in 2011, so 2 years older than Jude. And that happened really fast. We fell in love super fast, and we got married in 2020, making us a family of 6.
And so I moved back to Kenosha in 2020 after I found out my dad had passed away of a heart attack. And so I was living in Kenosha, planning on moving back to London. I was studying for the bar exam, and it was COVID. Everything was a disaster. A year goes by, and I get a job offer as an attorney here in Kenosha. And at the same time, I went to a local bar where Andy was working with my mom, of all people, one night to play trivia, and he was there.
Wait, your mom was working there?
No, I went to play trivia with my mom.
Like, we had to get into that story later. Sorry.
But yeah, so, he was working, and he had just recently gotten out of a relationship, and, we just kind of reconnected, and I really didn't expect to fall for him the way that I did, but he had just changed so much. And at that point, it had been about 6 years, since we were together.
It's crazy.
Right. And so seeing him as a father, I think that's really what drew me to him. I love kids. I always have. And just, being able to see that delicate and sensitive side of him, because which you learn he's not the most delicate and sensitive person. So, being able to see that side of him and see him as a father to these two beautiful girls just really helped drive, I think, my attraction to him. And, things moved really quickly after that. Couple months later, bought a house and moved in together. We were a family of 4. And then a couple years later, in June of 2023, we had our son, River. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where we're at now. I guess the last couple years since River has been born is really where our co-parenting journey has even, taken off due to a even more like, I don't know, like Chelsea, I feel like Chelsea and I have gotten closer and closer as the years have gone on, and I would say right now we've just been, best friends for a while now.
Don't make me cry.
We've just been best friends for a while now. And, we've been talking about doing this podcast for a long time. And so.
Yeah, I could also say that I feel like having you having River like deepened our friendship. And I don't know if that's like because you were always such a good stepmom to the girls, even prior to becoming a mother yourself. But I don't know if that like biological connection of like being mothers is what strengthened our relationship, or it just took time. It just took time to get where we are today. But yeah, I would definitely say that we've quickly become, I mean, you're one of my best friends for sure, hands down. And I think it's just so nice to be able to have somebody that I can relate to and rely on, and is literally raising the same children that I am. And so it's just so nice to just have that support system.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Amazing. So here we are, a family of 5 and a family of 6, and our blended family vacations are crazy.
Outnumbered by children.
But yeah, so that's just a quick timeline. I hope that we get to dive deeper. There's so much more to our story than just that, but we just wanted to do a quick intro. Jenna, why don't you briefly talk about just yourself as a person? What do you do on your day-to-day basis when you're not a mom?
My name is Jenna. I'm 34 years old. I was born and raised in Kenosha, Wisconsin, which is where we currently reside. And, I spent quite a few years going to school. I always knew I was going to be an attorney. And during my undergrad, I studied abroad in London and decided that I wanted to go to law school there instead of going to law school in the U.S. So it was a little too late for me to apply for that year. So I ended up having to take a gap year, move back home, live with my mom. And in between that time when I was living at home, but working on getting accepted into law school in the UK, is actually when I met Andy. But
so it's meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, if we would have gotten together at that time, like, it would have never worked out. We probably would have, like, hated each other or something. So I'm glad that we didn't, like, try to actually have anything serious at that moment, But yeah, so I moved to London in September of 2016. Went to law school there for 3 years, and I didn't really want to give up my chance to practice law in the U.S. after that. So I only applied to USC and put all my eggs in one basket. I got into the Masters of Law program and moved from London to LA in 2018. Honestly, it was one of the best years of my life living in California. I loved it. I really did. Maybe not so much LA in particular, but like just being in California was amazing. So yeah, I mean, 2020 came around that year, law school, everything got moved to Zoom, and it was kind of a disaster. The bar exam was delayed and it was a whole mess, but I ended up getting a job as a paralegal until I found out whether or not I passed the bar. And once I did, they immediately made me an attorney. So I work as a corporate in-house attorney now. So I only have a limited license to practice in Wisconsin because I am only a licensed California attorney. So I spend, most of my time when I am not with my kids working and, reading books. I am an avid reader. I like to read books and as well as listen to them on audio. I'm usually listening to and reading multiple books at a time. I'm in a book club, and I am really into heated workout classes. That's probably a really strong passion of mine. I always try to con people into coming to work out with me in the heat, and they're like, "What the F is wrong with you?" Like 105 degrees plus 50% humidity? No thanks. But that is that is something that I really enjoy doing. We have a dog. His name is Paul, and I like to take him for a million walks a day. I also enjoy making really yummy cocktails at home for all my best friends.
She makes the best. The best ones. All right, so that leads to me. My name is Chelsea. Hi, I'm 33 years old. I was not born in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I was actually born in Massachusetts, which is a really funny full circle moment that we'll get into later. But my husband is actually from Massachusetts as well, but we both met here in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So I was born in Massachusetts. My parents ended up relocating back to Wisconsin when I was a small child. So I went to middle school and high school here in Kenosha, and then lived in New Hampshire for some time after high school. I lived in Chicago for a bit, which is what led me to having my son Jude. And then when I moved back to Kenosha, I went to cosmetology school. I was originally in nursing school, and I think that I was drawn to nursing school just because I loved the people. I wanted to be able to help people, but I wasn't really getting that creative outlet that I needed. And so beauty school definitely gave me that, like that ability to help people and be around people constantly, but then also just practice my art on my medium as hair. And yeah, so then after beauty school, I worked at a commission salon here in Kenosha, and then went back to school to get my instructor certification and really found my love for teaching cosmetology as well as being behind the chair as an artist. And just down the line, that led me to opening my own salon here in Kenosha, Solis & Company, with my husband, Anthony. We started that about a year ago. So we are just in full swing of owning a business and juggling 4 children and all of their activities. And when I'm not doing that, I also love a heated workout. When this podcast takes off and we get famous, Jenna and I are also going to open a heated workout studio. It's our other business venture.
It's another dream.
Someday. But yeah, I love to work out. I love to read as well. I think that's just why Jenna and I have so many similar hobbies. My husband and I love to indulge in fine dining. We like to find really fun new restaurants. We've kind of become foodies, and so we like to do that together. And I love fashion and clothing and shopping and things like that. But
Nuuly.
we love Nuuly. Nuuly, sponsor us, please. But yeah, I think it's like all of our activities, and I feel like Jenna can also attest to this, like the activities that we enjoy the most, apart from, the ones that we get to do by ourselves, are including our children. And so that's been really fun for us to kind of just find our own way of spending time with our children and making memories, but then also doing the things that we love, like travel and making margaritas in Jenna's backyard by the pool and having the kids fun.
So, I guess where this podcast really started, is after our most recent family vacation. And honestly, even before that, people started reaching out to us constantly. Messages like, I wish I had this kind of relationship with my co-parent, or I didn't even know this was possible. Just lots of things like that.
Yeah, and they weren't even just like casual comments. Like they were pretty regular.
Right. So like they were coming from people who were hurting, people stuck in high conflict co-parenting situations, people who wanted better for themselves and for their kids.
Yeah.
So at some point it kind of clicked for us that this isn't just something that people find interesting. It's something that people are craving. They want proof that co-parenting doesn't have to be toxic to be real.
Yeah, and the mutual respect, it doesn't mean ignoring the past. I feel like it means choosing not to live in it, and I think that we've done a really great job of that so far.
I agree. So I guess that's kind of what inspired us to create this podcast. Not to say, look how great we are. We obviously don't have it all figured out. But to say this took work, this took honesty, and it took boundaries.
And also that if it's possible for us, it's possible for other people too. And maybe not in the same way, but taking it as your own and making it your own. So if you're listening because you want peace and clarity or a new perspective on co-parenting, then this is definitely the space for you.
And if you're listening because you're nosy, skeptical, or actively hoping this crashes and burns, then welcome. We love an audience.
It's the